Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy, and I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV, we are in the book of Ezekiel, and we are in chapter 5, which is a continuation of the siege of Jerusalem symbolized. Ezekiel is more an artist than, Jeremiah, who was more of a scribe, right? Different prophets, different skill sets, different types of illustration. Nobody's ever really learned the same way. That's the truth. We've all learned differently. And in these days, not everybody could read and write. I mean, that's the truth. Now, Ezekiel got out of having to cook his food with his own excrement, but God is trying to let him know what it would be like when the siege happens of Jerusalem, because it will not be easy. I've been listening to, it's been the listening to with the audiobooks, a lot of fiction stuff about what it would be like at Revelations, like in various locations. And what if you can't find one? If you're inside a walled city, because that's where you'd be if they're trying to siege it, you're not outside, or you can just, go over there to cut down a tree to get some wood. You can't just wander around and find the sticks, right? You can't, because you're inside a city. Eventually you got to burn something if you're going to cook food. He got out of his own excrement and got cow manure, so I guess he decided that was better. But this is after being told he has to lay on his one side, for 390 days and eat only measured amounts of bread and water, because this will be necessary when the siege of Jerusalem happens. Because again, you can't just go out to fields and plant food and wait for food to grow and all that if everybody's inside the walled city. Now, son of man, take a sharp sword and use it as a barber's razor to shave your head and your beard. Ow. I can only imagine you can't get really good control for that kind of up-close thing with the sword. That's got to be a lot of experience. Then take a set of scales and divide up the hair. When the days of your siege come to an end, burn a third of the hair with fire inside the city. Take a third and strike it with the sword all around the city, and scatter a third to the wind. Okay. For I will pursue them with drawn sword. So this is an illustration about what God will do with the people. But take a few strands of hair and tuck them away in the folds of your garment. Again, take a few of these and throw them into the fire and burn them up. A fire will spread from there to the whole house of Israel. This is what the sovereign Lord says. This is Jerusalem, which I have set in the center of my nations, with countries all around her. Yet in her wickedness, she has rebelled against my laws and decrees more than the nations and countries around her. She has rejected my laws and not followed my decrees. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. You have been more unruly than the nations around you and have not followed my decrees or kept my laws. You have not even, in most Hebrew manuscripts, some Hebrew manuscripts, or in the Syriac, you have, instead of you have not even, conformed to the standards of the nations around you. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I myself am against you, Jerusalem, and I will inflict punishment on you in the sight of the nations because of all your detestable idols. I will do to you what I have never done before and will never do again. Therefore, in your midst, fathers will eat their children, and children will eat their fathers. I will inflict punishment on you and will scatter all your survivors to the winds. Therefore, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, because you have defiled my sanctuary with all your vile images and detestable practices, I myself will withdraw my favor. I will not look on you with pity or spare you. A third of your people will die of plague or perish by famine inside you. A third will fall by the sword outside your walls, and a third will scatter to the winds and pursue with drawn sword. No, I will scatter to the winds and pursue with drawn sword. Those people who got left behind in Jerusalem, who went to like Egypt or went to other nations rather than stay in Jerusalem as told. Those nations then got conquered after Jerusalem. Then my anger will cease, and my wrath against them will subside, and I will be avenged. And when I have spent my wrath upon them, then they will know that the Lord has spoken in my zeal. That I, the Lord, have spoken in my zeal. I will make you a ruin and reproach among the nations around you in the sight of all who pass by. You will be a reproach and a taunt, a warning and an object of horror to the nations around you when I inflict punishment on you in anger and in wrath with stinging rebuke. I, the Lord, have spoken. When I shoot at you with my deadly and destructive arrows of famine, I will shoot to destroy you. I will bring more and more famine upon you and cut off your food supply. I will send famine and wild beasts against you and will leave you childless. Plague and bloodshed will sweep through you, and I will bring the sword against you. I, the Lord, have spoken. Now remember, when Babylon does come to besiege them, Nebuchadnezzar gives them an opportunity to come out and submit. And Jeremiah tells them to do it, and that is the way to avoid the plague and the famine. It is only because they're prideful and they won't submit that they have to leave or be conquered at all. Because they were flat out told to submit. And sometimes God tells us to do things where we would rather not have to do because we worry, I don't know, about what other people think. It's just weird to me. Like, I've gone down that rabbit hole. It's not good, and I suggest that you don't. I mean, and be emotionally sensitive to the people who are in your life. Yeah, because you care about them, you don't want to hurt their feelings, and they have the ability to hurt your feelings. But don't sway like a hut in the wind to what is popular or what you think other people want. Focus on what God gave you to do, right? That's what he primarily tells us to do. If you spend time worrying about what people think about you, you can make yourself go a little batty. I mean, it's not good for you. I hope you'll join me for chapter 6 of Ezekiel, a prophecy against the mountains of Israel.